Hello out there. And welcome to Brewster's off 7th Street in the hopping part of Fort Worth.
It is the happening part of Fort Worth. Hey, Frog fans, how are we doing tonight? All right, we got a great studio audience tonight.
Yes, great audience. You're here for the KillerFrogs Hour. Tonight we've got Sean Fouché here, Wes Phelan, and Scott Nix. I'm here, and we've got a special guest coming up in a few minutes. You know, guys, how are you guys doing this week? I mean, that was a rough one Saturday.
Yeah, I crawled out of the fetal position Sunday night, but
Yeah.
I'm okay.
You're all right? Quit sucking your thumb?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you, it was a lot of fun. I've not had as much fun at a game in a long time. Of course, if I don't get 100 pounds off pretty quick, I will have a heart attack if this continues. I mean, not from just that. That was a roller coaster ride.
It was a roller coaster ride.
Well,
it was a fun one, but no, we ended up on the wrong side.
Well, before we get into the details of the game, we had a great trip where we took about 103 Killer Frogs down to Waco with two 56-passenger buses, and we had a great time taking folks down there. We sure would have liked to have been celebrating and stopping at West on the way back, but we had to plug on through there. And Wes, did Sean have some difficulties because of our loss?
You know what?
I knew you guys were going to bring this up.
He brought a Baylor fan with him, and the guy was pretty brave. I'll get it to him. Wear a green shirt.
Well, he should be. He's in the Army.
Okay, with a bus full of two buses full of purple-clad fans.
Yeah, I have to admit, everybody behaved themselves for the most part.
And so you had a little bet going, didn't you?
I did have a bet.
All right, pass
I
up.
lost it.
Let's do it.
Let's see it.
I really have
Come
to
on.
do it. I have to
Come
do
on.
it.
You got to see it. It's part of your bet. We're going to get a striptease. How about some striptease music here?
No striptease music.
Dun. Oh, man.
Awful. Does your skin, skin burn?
That's a hard.
Well, actually, I've got some purple Under Armour underneath this,
all
so
right.
it's like my little Baylor quarantine zone
You
here.
protected
Yeah,
the
I'm
house,
okay.
then.
I'm all right.
Good.
It does
that's
itch a
tough
bit,
bet
though.
to lose right there. Well,
Sorry.
Let's move along, and I tell you what. Why don't we bring our special guest up for tonight? We're talking about, man, this guy was a stud for TCU. Shannon Brazzell. Don't call him Brazzell, call him Brazzell. All right, we got that? Come on up here, Shannon.
Linebacker.
The linebacker for the Frogs.
97 to 2001.
Is 2001 your last year? 2000. That's what it was. 2090. You know, Shannon, he was, let's see, your senior year, you and LT were seniors the same year. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 2000, and Shannon was a all-conference first-team linebacker for the Frogs. I know that you've been on the list for the high school greatest linebackers ever in Texas high school history. That's quite an honor. You're from Louisville, Texas. Is that not right?
Louisville Fighting Farmers.
Fighting Farmers,
Yes,
huh?
indeed. 93 and 96 state champions.
90, but you like it back on this side of the border better, don't you?
I love it.
Okay.
I'm home.
Shannon, and I know that you do a lot of great work with TCU, and I know you're involved. And we'll talk about some of that later on in the program with LT and some of your other buddies that you played with. But you had some great times at TCU. Was part of our revival at TCU.
I was part of it. I was blessed to be our freshman year. We were 1-10, though. We beat SMU. That's all that matters, right?
That's right. Beat
And,
SMU. I was there. I remember that.
So it was good to be a part of the 3-year stretch after that, where we changed pretty much history at the time, going to win bowl games and winning rings. And I think since then they've only not made a bowl game twice.
Well, you were part of you were part of a magical time in TCU history where, of course, Dennis Franchione came in, and at the beginning of the revival of TCU football, after we broke up the Southwest Conference, when we become a kind of a large fish in a smaller pond, as you say, and we got our opportunity against USC in the Sun Bowl, and you were part of that.
That was awesome, but I shouldn't say we always tell people we're Sully boys. Then Franchione came in. So
and then Franchione.
We got to give that credit.
Sully recruited you, right?
Yes,
and
indeed.
he recruited LT.
LT, Schobel, a lot of
So
us.
he brought a lot of.
Morgan.
I get that. I played in the dry air, and he recruited a lot of the stars when Wacker did really well there in '84, '85, and so I understand that philosophy there.
No knock on Franchione, but I have to say that because of what happened our senior year. So I just
well, Franchione was only successful because of Patterson, right?
There you go,
right. Defense. That's stellar defense. And
LT's not here, so we're gonna talk football.
LT, we won't talk. Well, we had LT, but that defense. Didn't we? We kept USC to negative yardage that game.
Negative yardage and all the disrespect and what they showed us throughout the week with meetings, all I can remember was 21-0 halftime.
Well, we were walking around out in the Sun Bowl after that, and I remember seeing USC fans. I said, do you think TCU ought to let USC into the WAC? So that was a long time ago.
I just remember Carson Palmer on his back all afternoon, looking up at the sky, and you guys sacked him
all day long.
After time.
All day long.
Carson was a freshman then, and here he is still in the NFL in 2014, and he's getting to be one of the older quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't know what that says about all us, but not bad on Shannon, but maybe the rest of us. Guys, we could avoid this, but we got to get into it. I think we need to talk about this Baylor game. What do you think, Wes?
Wow. Yeah, I guess we ought to get it out of the way.
We got to get this out of the way. There was a lot of questions, a lot of excitement. I guarantee you the team, we thought we had this one up 21 points, as we all know, 11 minutes in the fourth quarter, and then disaster happened. And, you just can't there was only two teams in the nation, even when we were up 21 points, that I thought could possibly come off from that, and that would be one Oregon, and the other would be Baylor.
Right.
Anybody else, including your Oklahomas, Alabamas, I wouldn't have given them a chance. Not a chance to be able to do that. Sean, why don't we show a clip real quick? Just listen. Well, not show a clip. Let's listen to a clip at Patterson in his press conference talking about how he takes blame for this.
There's only one person you can blame is me. Like I told my kids, I said, be honest with you, you'd see their face on the side. They ran out of gas. Got to give Baylor credit.
Yep, and that was just a short little clip of it, but he went on to say more or less that was the situation maybe where he had overcoached a little or inferred that, and we just weren't ready on the line of scrimmage on the ball. Shannon, what was your observation? I mean, would you have imagined a TCU defense under Patterson giving up 61 points?
Never thought I'd see the day. Not in this era. Not in today's game with Coach. Watching it, you saw him in the fourth quarter. I thought we boxed with them pretty good for 3 rounds. I thought we won all 3 rounds, even though they were putting up points, but we were winning every phase of the game. But it was the drives, the runs. They kept nicking us. So it's kind of like 1-2, 1-2, and then they would hit us with the big punch. And after a while, I'm like, okay, we're going to get a hold of it. And we never did. And so watching it, I was so frustrated because that was not the defense I was accustomed to.
Right.
And it was frustrating because we couldn't stop it. There's nothing we could do to stop it. And I saw the look on Gary's face on the sideline. I was like, and then again, with the offense striking so quick, your defense was out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So they don't get much rest.
Well, what people don't realize is to start the game out, we scored 14 right away.
Yeah.
We stopped them 2 more series after that. We could have gone either 21, 17, 24, 28 up on them. And our offense kind of stalled out a little bit and let them gather confidence. Had we just kept pounding them down, I don't know if they ever would have recovered to get the confidence they did. But once they saw that quick strike potential over the top on us, and dadgummit, we had a young kid out there, Tejada, that he had a rough day, and I think Patterson brought up that kind of reminding of Verrett, when he went against RG3 in that first game. Who would have ever thought? Everybody was shaking. Verrett's supposed to be good, and you get burned. Now we're talking about 2 years later, he's the number 1 draft pick of the San Diego Chargers. Yeah. And that's kind of home, isn't it, there? Yeah. I know you and LT are involved still a lot with the Chargers. Let's go to another clip here. I'm talking about the 27 seconds that are left on the clock at the end of the game where the clock does not move.
Wow. Well, yeah, it's pretty well documented, the 27 seconds left on the clock. I didn't say anything about the officials, to be honest with you. I said I was going to look into clock management. I'm smart enough not to say anything about officials.
At the TCU 28-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground.
And there you have it, Sean. Sean's running these clips here. As you can see, the clock's not moving after that run and setting at 27 seconds. So the clock operator certainly didn't run the clock, and it certainly could have made a big difference right there at the end of the game. You know, Gary, of course, he's not going to say anything about the officials, but he certainly said something about what happened after the game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I mean, Sean, how do you feel about that? You and Wes, how do y'all feel about what Gary did after the game, talking about the Baylor player kind of threatening him?
Well, I didn't see it. I mean, I was on the field. I don't know exactly what happened, but I trust Coach.
Right.
I mean, I don't think Coach would make something like that
Yeah,
up.
I don't think he would either. I mean, if you see the video, the player obviously approached him, said something to him, and Patterson kind of said, like, what'd you say?
Well, you saw his reaction. You saw his reaction like, you know.
Well, you saw Phil Bennett take the kid away from him.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So you saw both reactions, so he said something disrespectful.
Yeah,
bottom
absolutely.
line.
Absolutely.
Right. And what should never happen out there.
Right.
I think the point is, whether especially after what happened with Baylor at Amon Carter last year with Brazzell, should something like that have been said again, I think, you know, he might get a little criticism, and he has gotten a little national criticism for some people saying he was kind of a crybaby about it. But, you know, in the thick of the battle, you know, it's the thick of the battle. And Gary's an emotional person, and he probably said it a lot nicer than he wanted to say it.
Well, but not only that, he's pointing out once again, I mean, Baylor has a history of having players that are rather, I'll use the term abrasive.
Right.
Here.
Right.
Just to
I'll
be
use
nice.
the term thugs.
I was
You can
afraid
get away
we
with
were-
that. I can't.
I was afraid we were going to hear that,
No,
that
no,
word
I-
on there because
but-
Baylor got that. You know, and I believe that, you know, a lot of that started talk about Baylor too. It had been said before, but with Ahmad Dixon last year and what happened and that, and then seeing this. And, you know, they have a different way of getting excited and fired up on the sidelines with all their, you know, you saw all their red shirts over on the sidelines jumping up. That's what they do for their excitement. It's not what TCU does, and somehow it looks a little different. It's just the way they do it.
I'm glad we don't do that.
Well, and I am too, but, you know, that's what floats their boat. And if you win, you can float your boat any way you want.
Well, I'll say this. We've lost both years, and they've won, and their players are the ones speaking out in a negative way to a coach. What does that say about what's going on in your locker room? I know Gary's kids. I know that won't happen. You know, it won't happen under Gary's watch because we know how Gary is in the locker room. It's about respect, kill him with kindness, those kind of deals. But, you know, teach his own.
Well, and you made a good point there, because I don't think there's any way in the world that Gary Patterson would have tolerated that. If he
Not
had
at
a
all.
kid come out, you know, Shannon Brazzell come out and said something to a coach like that, he would have probably even said something. I had one of my kids say something he shouldn't, and we'll deal with that internally. And Shannon, I think you'd probably been up at 5 o'clock every morning for about 3 weeks.
3-year starter or not?
I have 3-year starter, captain, whatever it
Whatever.
was.
Captain,
it would have
leader,
been
whatever.
And I think that's a little bit of the difference that people are talking a little bit of difference between Brazzell and Patterson as far as discipline
Sure.
with the kids.
Sure.
All right, let's move on along. Let's talk about Trevorce Johnson. You know, you got a clip or Patterson talking about Trevorce there?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Get them to where it's play well, not just play. You got to play well. I mean, it's where we get.
Let me start that again here.
I
Hold
believe
on.
we got
Yeah,
the wrong
sorry.
clip here. We're going to bring
No,
up
no,
the-
no. I got the right clip. I just started in the wrong place.
All right, here we go.
Sorry.
Young. Get them to where it's play well, not just play. You got to play well. I mean, it's where we trust them. I mean, it's a general rule. Coaches don't play favorites. Coaches play guys that they think can go in and do the job that they need them to do when they do it.
And I think he's more or less talking about there the youth of Johnson, and paraphrasing it through there. And he did score a touchdown for us, because I think a lot of the question among the Frog faithful, as good a back as B.J. Catalan is, does he have enough ump in his rear end to make those powerful runs? What do you think, Shannon?
I think so. You couldn't ask him for a better day last Saturday.
Right.
he somewhat, at points of the game, put the game on his shoulders.
Right.
Special teams running the ball. I mean, catching the ball. What a catch down the field for whatever yards it was. It was a deep catch. It was a wonderful catch. I have no problems with him. Do we need to pound it with Boykins back there play after play? Nah, that's not our style. That's not what we're doing.
We don't have to, and I think the conjecture is that we don't have a Matthew Tucker type on the goal line that any longer that's going to pound that ball in there in that situation. And Travoris Johnson is our next answer to a goal line situation in which he got in down there. So I believe that's more or less, where that was going. And
but I think when he earns the trust of Patterson and the coaches, then I think you'll see him.
What he needs to find is one of those big boys who can do the refrigerator Perry down there and give him the ball.
Scott, you still got some eligibility?
I tell you, I told you it'd be, if I got out there one more time, it'd be for one play, and then I'd have to have the guy that I was blocking against give me mouth to mouth.
Well, that's
and so
that ain't gonna happen.
Like I said, it'd be like in the longest
He's
yard.
on his own.
We're just gonna let him go. So anyway, that's what we would have had there. Sean, I'm trying to think. Is the trick plays coming up next? Is that what we're going to talk about?
Yeah. So I mean, if we're going to go down this, we had this. I believe this is the play, Shannon, that you were referencing.
Yes.
And this is the trick play
Wow,
to
this was
Cameron
something else
Looper,
here.
and this is an amazing
Awesome
play.
play.
So we have it at the end of the third quarter. TCU's got the ball on the 32-yard line, and then this happens.
Fly sweep end around. It's going to be a pass if he can get it away. There comes Looper going deep and caught inside the 15 by Catalan.
Wow.
Big play.
Tell you what, he's got an arm on him.
No kidding.
I tell you what, the key to that whole play was our quarterback. That was one heck of a block that he put on Big Boy.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. It was a great block, and but then you see Looper. He steps up like a quarterback should in that situation. And I'm telling you, he flailed that ball. That was a beautiful, beautiful pass.
I'm telling you, I was watching with my wife and my kids in the living room, and we went crazy. It was a wonderful play, big-time play at the right time.
Yep.
Well, it kind of reminded me back. I will say this about Franchione. When he first came in here, we did do a lot of trick plays.
Well,
back then.
we kind of had to do.
we
We're trying to find our way.
Find a way to win. That's right. Well,
Yes, indeed.
That's one thing I like about Meacham's offense. With the hidden player play that he used a week ago against Oklahoma, and now this one, he's not afraid to pull those out of the hat and use them at the right time.
well,
Timing's everything.
it keeps your defenses honest.
Absolutely.
And we need to do those kind of things. And talk about Doug Meacham and Cumbie, and our new offensive line assistant and the changes we've made all over that offense. I mean, and I believe I said this on Killer Frogs this week. There is no way that we hang in that game with Baylor with our old offense.
Not at all. Not at all. They've opened it up. I love this new offense, by the way. This is something over the years we've been missing, and it's good to see that every 2 or 3 plays are going to be not going to be the same.
You know what's exciting to me is Baylor's been running this 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Petty's had it 3 years. We've had it 5 plays.
Games.
And
games.
Boykin's only 5 games, and Boykin's only running for 5 games, and we're cruising along at 45.8 points a game. That's not too bad. I'm not even sure Mike Leach with his offense averaged that much his first year.
Well, while we're on that, they do go to Oklahoma does come to town. That's going to be interesting to see, since we're running the same pretty much offense they did in Oklahoma. That's going to be interesting to see what happens, how we adjust.
He can know Meacham will know the tendencies they run, and
Well,
be a big help.
the pressure's on us to adjust.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, we got a couple clips here. I want to show the 2 interceptions that happened in the game. These were fantastic, key, and we thought game-ending interception, especially the last one. Sean, could you pull those up so we could go over those?
Yeah, so the first one is Kevin White. Petty gets flushed out. He looks like he's going to throw away the ball, but instead he throws it to the inside of his receiver, which is a big no-no. And Kevin White just steps inside and takes this.
Petty with an empty backfield. Running out of time. On the move and on the run. Throws an interception to Kevin White. First mistake.
Okay, that's the first one there with Kevin White, and you know he played that. Look at that play on that ball. And he actually, took it right away from the other player. Actually, that was a ball up for anybody.
Good vision, good break on the ball.
Well, and he showed he wanted it worse than the Baylor.
Blood in the water, man.
Right. So, guys, let's see the second.
Well, the second one was huge. This is the second pick six that we've had in the last two games. So this is the first one was Paul Dawson, right? Pulls out in front, takes Trevor Knight to the house.
Right.
And then this one is Marcus Mallett taking Petty to the house.
Right.
Linebacker.
Needs 10 and throws an interception. Marcus Mallett going the other way. TCU touchdown.
Boy, he read that perfectly.
Oh, I mean, perfect.
Well, it looked like almost an exact copy of the week before. What
Same thing
that happened, but the disappointing thing was here, and I don't know what happened. Sam Carter has to be one of the finest young men we've ever had on the field at TCU, and somehow he got an unsportsmanlike penalty, and so did Hackett, I believe.
Yeah.
And they both got it, and then got them concurrently put on the kickoff where we had the 10, and that was I tell you what, that negated that touchdown in a lot of ways because they got the ball at like the 46, our 46, and came right in on us, and that was over quick.
Well, I'll say this, there's no room for those kind of penalties, even though I didn't see what happened, but I'd like to see where they really.
And nobody said anything. We've not seen any film.
I went over the footage. And there's absolutely no footage of the field because they went to one of those sky cams all the way into the end zone. Announcers didn't even talk about it after the play. I mean, you're talking about two personal fouls, and that puts the ball back on the 10 for the kickoff. I mean, that's a huge.
Well, they weren't
huge
personal fouls; they were unsportsmanlike, which makes me think that it was celebration penalty. And so, I mean.
Well,
if you're going to put celebration penalties, if you can't put penalties all over Baylor, I mean, the way
they're
they
dancing
celebrate.
in the end zone
I
afterwards.
know, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're getting to the end and actually over our first section, but we've got to get to the critical part here, guys. Let's go over these last two interceptions. First, let's run the
well, not the interceptions, the pass interference. And
pass interference. Excuse me, pass interference. Let's go over the 4th and 4. TCU has the ball. And let's look at this play.
From that backfield. 4th and 3. Boykin gonna loft one deep on the sideline. Broken up. Baylor's gonna get it back.
Okay, a lot of people are questioning why did we go for it on 4th down, and I have no problem with Gary Patterson going for that on 4th down. Of course, we went through 2 timeouts. He talked about going to fake punt. I'm glad he didn't try that because I think that would have been too easy to sniff out.
Oh, look at that.
But they're saying, why do you run this play? Well, you got to take what they give you. They had everybody tied up in the box. We had man coverage, and you really have nothing else to do, Shannon, but go over the top. And you're looking for one or two things. You're going, number one, to your best receiver, Dotson. Number 2, if it's not there, then you're going to get interference. So number 1 happened. Dotson gets up. Boykin makes a great pass, goes up to him, and then, as you can see on there, it is blatant interference.
Never even got his head turned around.
No doubt. Never turned his head around, covered him up.
But look at how Dotson just continues to go for the ball even after he. I mean,
he's our best possession receiver.
Unbelievable.
Well, we've seen a change in all our receivers being aggressive, and like I said, Meacham's in charge of receivers now, and I've talked to Coach Meacham about this, we had to get our receivers going and fighting for balls, and I definitely see that difference this year in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to the second clip. Here we got 3rd and 10. Baylor's got this really comes down to being the play of the game that keeps us from going overtime because Baylor is going to have to punt because if they don't punt, we're going to get the ball back and get a field goal too. And you got another angle of that, don't you, Sean? I mean, it's coming up here. And I mean, this is a ticky-tack call on this interference. right there.
You know what? I'm
And
gonna tell you what.
and the really bad thing is, you know, if you're going to call not call the interference against us, you don't call that interference.
Exactly.
And because the referees, we shouldn't have ever been in the position to lose the game by the referees in the first place when we were up so well. But we put ourselves in that position, and then you're gambling. And the referees actually, in that last minute, took the game from us.
I agree.
And so we know what happened after that. They kick the field goal. They win. They have, you know, their first Big 12 win in New McLean Stadium, by the way, which I don't think compares to our stadium.
No, not at all.
We are fake brick. We don't have fake brick, do we?
No, we don't have Baylor brick.
We don't have Baylor brick. No. Anyway, okay, guys. Well, this wraps up the first session of our deal, and we're going to take a quick Brewster's intermission. We'll come back and talk a little bit about Brewster's when we come back from the break.
Hey, Killer Frogs, I'm here at Brewster's today. And as you know, you get 30% off on your food with the coupon you get off of Killer Frogs. What you didn't know is that every Wednesday, they've got Wild Wing Wednesday. 60 cents per wing, a 6-wing minimum. You got 4 different flavors to choose from: buffalo, barbecue bourbon, Thai chili, and the famous Caribbean jerk. Speaking of Caribbean jerks, I'm going to have one myself right now.
Go Frogs!
Go Frogs.
Okay, we're back at Brewster's, everybody. Have a party, eat some wings, drink some beer. Let's have some more fun.
Well, we need to talk about Brewster's just a little bit. Brewster's is our sponsor of this show, and I'll tell you, this place is awesome, Wes. You know, I tell you, they have some of the best burgers you'll ever eat.
Oh, they are awesome.
And, you know, they actually won the best non-traditional burger at Fort Worth Magazine's Battle of the Burger, and that was the Duke. You want to hear about the Duke? It's a burger topped with pepper jack cheese, braised barbecue pulled pork, pickled red onions, diced applewood bacon, red cabbage slaw, and jalapeno. How do you say that next word? Aloe? I don't know.
Hello? Oh, well.
I don't know.
It's
Close
chef
enough.
talk.
And yeah, absolutely, chef talk. And on a fresh baked bun. But, you know, they got the greatest fries down here. They put queso on the fries now down here with jalapenos and stuff if you want it that way. They got all kind, and it's 90. I mean, it is the time to come down here for the wings. I mean, Wild Wing Wednesday, 60 cents a piece.
You can't beat it.
Every Wednesday at Brewster's.
You saw that pile of wings he had in the video, and it was just
Absolutely. And I don't think we have a table available in here tonight. This place is packed, and I guess we could put some people back in here behind us, but they're packing it out in here tonight. We appreciate all our fans coming down here and all the regulars down here at KillerFrogs, and so we appreciate y'all coming in this evening.
absolutely.
Thanks to Brewster's. Okay, guys, it's time to move on. Like we said yesterday in the press conference, it's time to move on to Oklahoma State University. We've had a rough time with these guys our first 2 games in the Big 12.
That's right. We've been 0 for Oklahoma the past couple of years, but it's going to change this year. Well, it has changed already. We beat OU.
Let's make a sweep.
State's the next one.
Let's make a sweep of
Let's
it.
make a sweep.
Well, we had a little bit of a scheduling issue with Oklahoma State because when we took over A&M's schedule in the conference, the Big 12, the last 2 years we had to play two straight games up at Oklahoma State. And quite honestly, those are the 2 games we probably got whooped the worst in the last couple of years. Actually, the last several years that I can remember up there, where I actually thought that somebody actually came in and didn't nip us. They beat us up there. And it was unfortunate because I think we were in position, especially the first year, to win the game in the first half, and then we just fell apart. Yep. And so finally we get them on our turf, Wes.
It's exciting. I think it's going to be a great game. Hopefully we'll have a full house this weekend. I can't imagine we wouldn't. And, you know, it's going to be fun. It's time for us to beat them and show them a few things.
Well, and we got a big weekend at home. It's homecoming. You know, we got homecoming. We should be seeing a lot of our old friends, a lot of old classmates. It should be a big crowd, and they're expecting everything to be crazy and wild like it was the Oklahoma game. and it should be. This is the top
Yes.
third week in a row we played a top 15 team, Shannon.
Right.
It's going to be exciting, especially, as you said, homecoming. You got a young team coming in that has a lot of speed, and they make a couple mistakes, but they're young, and they play hard.
They are young, and we're going to talk a little bit about their offense, which is headed by Dax Garman. Dax has come in to replace J.W. Walsh, who is out for the year with an injury. And Dax has come in, and the guy's got some skills, but he's still, like you said, he's young. I believe he went to Arizona his first year, set out a year, transferred to Oklahoma State, and is finally got his shot now. But you know something about this guy, Sean and Wes? This is the guy that was on that WFFA Channel 8 broke the news that came down here out of Oklahoma to go to school at South Lake Carroll about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And he was an illegal transfer,
I remember that.
and he didn't get to do that. I did not realize that till today, that this is the same guy. You saw him, a little bit of ambush journalism by Channel 8 and getting his dad all upset in his truck and all that. But he was ruled ineligible by the UIL and did not get to play for South Lake Carroll that year. I did not realize the same guy, but he has
He knows he's not playing South Lake Carroll, right?
That's right. Right. That's right. He's got about 1,361 yards of offense this year. But this isn't your typical Shannon mentioned this is a young offense, and it is. They're not as potent as they have been in the past. They're the 62nd offense in the nation. They're the 40th in the pass and the 79th in run. But they do have some talented guys, and that starts with Tyreek Hill. I'm telling you, this guy, we're talking about somewhere in the Jeremy Curley clone, a little bit bigger. He can do it all. You can put him in the slot. You can put him at receiver. You can put him at running back. He's listed as the number 2 running back. He's an all-purpose guy. He averages 106. He returns kicks. He's returned 2 kicks for touchdown. He averages 162 yards of all-purpose yards for Oklahoma State.
I'll tell you what, you don't break down this guy, you'll be on all fours.
Absolutely. This is gonna be a challenge for the TCU defense. And actually, Gary talked about that he's going to be dependent on his press boxes, his coaches up in the box, to be spotting where he's coming out, so they'll know and they'll be able to read. They feel like they can read a little bit better their offense if they see real quick where he lines up when he comes out there. All right, well, that's good. Their rushing game is pretty much it's not the best in the world. You've got a rusher, Desmond Rowland. He's going about 4.2 average per yard. He's got 391 yards. But what stands out to me, he does have 7 touchdowns, which is a pretty strong deal. Their receiving crew is very talented, though. Brandon Shepard's got 299 yards. David Glidden, 265. Marcel Aitman, 244. Jawan Seals, 3 TDs. And James Washington, 3 TDs. So just like the offense that we run and the one that, we've got 3 TC coaches that were at Oklahoma State. We've got Meacham, Glasgow, and Looper, all 3 from Oklahoma State. So they know this team pretty well.
And our graduate assistant who's coaching the offensive
line. That's exactly right. That's 4. Mm-hmm. I didn't even think about him. So that's 4 of them that's done that. This is going to be an interesting matchup for our defense. I think our defense is going to come with a little more swagger, a little confidence. I know Gary said he had a lot better Sunday practice this Sunday than he did the Sunday before when they got ready for Baylor. So that makes me feel good. I think the kids had a couple of days off this week. It was fall break. So as I heard a couple of them say, we've actually got to sleep.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got to definitely, as we're talking about it today, I'm looking at these highlights, it's time to move on. And we have to take care of business. The deal is we've only lost 1 game, and we still have an opportunity here. If we can just take it 1 game at a time, starting with Oklahoma this Saturday, and handle business, we'll be okay. We just got to have a short memory, and let's go take care of Oklahoma State.
And right, more than 1 game. We've been a little spoiled, us Frogs. We've for a long time we were just hungry to get to the whatever bowl, Mobile Bowl that you got in. When we went to Mobile Bowl, I mean, we were excited. We were flying flags. We were doing everything, and people looked at like, y'all are strange, you know? Y'all get excited about the littlest things. Now we've kind of gotten cocky about ourselves, and we expect Rose Bowls, and we expect, and this year, you know, after coming 4-8, and yes, they were close losses last year, we have come to a place now that we expect bigger things, and those things are happening. We are all looking for an undefeated season after we beat Oklahoma. We're not going to get an undefeated season, but we're not out of it. And,
not by any means.
And we're not out of good bowls. And honestly, we're still in a building year. Coach Meacham told me when he came here, he said this is going to be a 2 or 3 year project on offense. This is his first year. We got Trevon Boykin back next year. You know, people talked really bad about Trevon, you know, that, you know, he's happy feet, he can't do it. He can do it. He is unbelievable. Yes. You ask Shannon Brazzell, how would you like to have to watch in this kind of offense somebody like Trevon Boykin and have to be accountable for him?
I would love it. I would love to play with him.
You'd love to play with him. You wouldn't want to play against him, though.
No, not at all.
That's what I'm talking about. You wouldn't want to line up across from him, and that'd be your responsibility to make sure he doesn't sneak off there.
I tell you what, I'd be in shape in practice chasing this guy for Saturdays if I had to practice against him. I'll tell you that much.
Well, you know, Sonny Cumbie has done a magnificent job with him because years past, if he didn't have his first receiving option open, his tendency was to run. Yeah. Now you watch him, he's bouncing on the balls with his feet. He's checking off his progressions and looking for secondary and tertiary receivers and finding them. He's doing a great job.
It's good to see in that young man his growth from one year to the next. I was, you know, I always feel like I'm a locker room guy. I've been in a locker room, so, you know, you kind of know a little bit of what's going on, and you have too, Scott, but I felt like, you know, sometimes his balls get away from him, and we couldn't afford to have that happen all year. But already, I'm telling you, he's came in and he has changed the game. His game is on another level. It's good to see.
Absolutely. He's one of the most dangerous weapons in college football. There's no question about it. You know, and no knock to Mark Jokel. You know, I wish we had 2 quarterbacks in a game. You know, I would love to see the running and the passing of him, and I would love to see the pinpoint passing that Jokel's got, you know. But unfortunately, in a situation like we were in the Baylor game last week, you get a rush on you like that, you better be able to move. And no knock on Mark, but I don't think Matt, Mark actually worked for us at Killer Frogs, his uncle. But Matt, I just don't think he would be able to move out of that pocket as quickly as Trevor. I don't think there's many quarterbacks in America that could.
No.
Well, with all this stuff going on, I don't know the truth behind Boykins and his left hand and all that, but one thing I told Russell Gary a while ago or at TCU at our meeting, that it would be good to see what he could do in the passing game. It would eliminate the speed from the quarterback position at the time, but, man, to see him put some of those tight balls down the field in the right spots and not air them, it'd been nice to see.
Yeah. It might be situational use. It really that might work good there. Okay, you know, the kicking game for OSU is not there. They've been pretty stellar from the 30 in. He starts missing them from outside. He's 14 of 18. That's Ben Grogan. Their kicker, their punter, I mean, he's averaging about 41.5. So they've got a decent punter. That's not an astounding average. His longest is like 56, so I don't see him really blowing us away in that situation. But that's pretty much their offense. Their offensive line is of question. And I'll tell you what, we got some hosses. I think we came out pretty healthy the other day.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see. I don't know a lot about Oklahoma State. I did a little research on them. I've seen some highlights. But, listen, we come to take care of business, play better, solid defense, just get back to doing what we do. We should win this game. We should win this game.
Absolutely. Wes, what do you got on defense for Oklahoma State?
You know, their defensive coordinator, Glenn Spencer, took over about 3 years ago, and before that, they were not known as a defensive team.
Offense.
I'd still hesitate to say they're not in TCU's category as far as the defense goes, but they're certainly better. This year, though, they lost 8 starters from last year, so they're pretty young, but they're doing okay. They're led by Ryan Simmons, who's their 6 foot, 235-pound linebacker. He's leading the team with 44 tackles, 1 sack. Their big sack threat, they have 2 of them actually. Josh Furman, another linebacker, or safety rather, he's got 5 sacks, and their defensive end, Emmanuel Ogba, has got another 5. So They can get around, they can sack the quarterback. Statistically, they're not overwhelming. They're not in TCU's class once again, but they're not bad, and they're young, and they're only going to get better.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. It's going to be interesting. Our running game against this. If we go the running game's a big part of our offense against this defense.
Yep.
And the offensive line, I think we had some pretty big holes on the big plays. We saw Aaron Green break a big one on, what was that, 3rd and 1 last week? And,
yep.
and I thought it was Catalon until I saw he was getting caught, And I was like,
Catalon
nobody's going to catch Catalon. And then I was
caught.
like, that's somebody else. And that was Aaron Green with spectacular run. And, of course, a great heads-up play by Dotson. Dotson's been Mr. Everything this year.
These guys they're fun to watch. I mean, you never know what's going to happen on our offense on any given play. We can pick up the first and we can go to the house with it. And that's what I love about this offense.
Yeah.
It's not boring. It's very exciting. And, again, the negative may be is when they strike so quick, the defense has to get back on the football field and play. And we might not be as fresh as we'd like to be in the fourth quarter.
That was the one thing Gary Patterson was afraid about in this kind of offense.
Yeah.
The defense will be on the field a little bit too long.
Yeah.
You score too quickly, you put them back out there before they're rested. But
Well,
I'll take a win anytime.
Well, we'll take a win. We've got homecoming coming this weekend. We got Oklahoma State. I know the crowd will be big this weekend. Man, it's going to be a great game day atmosphere. 3 o'clock, Amon Carter, and the Frogs I believe the Frogs are going to bring it through. It's not going to be as easy as I think some people think. We'll talk maybe a little bit about scores here in a minute. But before you get away here, I want you to say a word a little bit about what you're involved in now, Shannon, and what you've got coming up. I know you work on some different organizations,
Sure.
UNLT, so let us know a little bit about what's going on with you.
Well, we stay busy year-round. We're always in the community. We just had a 5K, the calf run last month. We're giving out 2,100 meals on November 22nd behind TCU. It's a drive-through with people in the community. We give out tickets. They come through. They don't even have to get out of their cars. We load their cars up with turkeys, the sides, drinks, and they just keep on going. It's a beautiful thing. And then in December, we'll have another 5K at the Motor Speedway. And we're going to do 2 laps around that thing.
Oh.
And they're going to show a movie on the big screen for the kids. So and then in January, we have our First Down Club banquet where we honor the top athletes in the Metroplex for being student athletes. And we give them an award based off the most our head coaches, South Lake's head coach, Hal Watson, Lido's head coach. Several great coaches that vote there at TCU right now as we speak, having a meeting, our first meeting, to get this going in January. So we're very busy in the community and just trying to be a blessing to people.
That's a good thing.
Well, that's great. And what website would they go to, Shannon, to find out more about this?
You can go to LaDainianTomlinson.com. You can also go to lt-academy.com. And there's all the Facebook page, LaDainian Tomlinson Facebook page. So we're out there. We're in the community. Feel free to come out and support us, be a part of it. We always welcome volunteers. We have fun.
And we like to put up your events on Killer Frogs, too. We'll put those things up there for you, Zid. You get that to Sean. He'll get those things listed up there because we certainly, it's like I said, you guys use a lot of heart and what you do in the community and certainly appreciate it. And do you need any volunteers for the turkeys?
I want you guys coming out. And I want to say this is Killer Frogs. You guys have always supported us. Now, thank you. You've been there at the banquets for the last 3 years. You've cut checks. You've posted things for us. You've been a blessing to us, and we want to thank you for being a part of what we do.
Well, we're proud to be partners with y'all. Y'all are great people, and you're Horned Frog brothers, and we'll have you back again, Shannon. Maybe sometimes you bring LT with you.
Yeah, I'll get him out. He's home. He comes in from L.A. every Monday night at midnight, so he's here Tuesday through Friday with the family. So
he's a busy man. We see him on the NFL Network. He's doing a great job
I have
there.
to fight him, get him away from his wife. She may not like me when I do that. Get him away from the family. But we enjoy what we do. We appreciate you guys being a support system for us.
Shannon, thank you. We've got a gift certificate for you. It's not up here right now, but we have a gift certificate for being our guest.
Thank you very
much.
much.
Up here at Brewster's. And
had fun.
We appreciate it and have fun. And we're going to cut away to our last little Brewster's clip here before we come back for the third session.
Hey, Killer Frogs, I'm here at Brewster's today. And as you know, you get 30% off on your food with the coupon you get off of Killer Frogs. What you didn't know is that every Wednesday, they've got Wild Wing Wednesday. 60 cents per wing, a 6-wing minimum. You got 4 different flavors to choose from: buffalo, barbecue bourbon, Thai chili, and the famous Caribbean jerk. Speaking of Caribbean jerks, I'm going to have one myself right now.
Go Frogs!
Go Frogs.
Okay, we're back live, and did I really eat those wings? I ask you that every week, but was that a stunt double for me?
Oh, no, that was you all the way.
Really?
200 of them.
Oh, they're good.
They are good.
It doesn't show on me.
No.
No. I still look sleek, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. Okay, I just want to make sure I still sleek. Hey, we got a lot of frogs out here. I see Virgil Bean out here, Chuck Mooney, W.C. Nix. Who's that guy over there? That's that principal from Aledo over there, Bill Tomini out there. I see y'all. We got the Garvins back out here today. Wow, lots of folks out here. Robin Abel out here, Brad Adcock. Got all kinds of folks out here. Ooh, who's that? That's my Aunt Sarah and my mother out there. Nothing like getting home cooking in here, guys.
You what?
It's my groupies, that's right, absolutely. I have a different kind of groupies there. But anyway, and my sister-in-law, Jennifer, there. And if I missed some of you, I'm sorry out there, but we definitely appreciate everybody that's come in. We know we had a full house in here. It's getting a little late and kind of clearing out. Guys, big weekend again. I mean, we've had 2 huge weekends in college sports, upsets, and isn't it nice for TCU to be on every national channel? Every time you look up, you see highlights of TCU. We're in Brewster's right now, and we're looking. We see TCU highlights. Look up ESPN, Fox Sports, talking about ESPN and the Frogs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I really liked it. At the end of I know we got done talking about Baylor, but at the end of the Baylor game, it was nice to see how much respect the Baptists had for TCU by rushing the field after beating TCU.
Yeah.
And it just continued on in the press and people giving a lot of respect for the Horned Frogs.
Yeah, and I got to say it was a big deal, and I'm sure the same thing Oklahoma said about us the week before. It was a big win for Baylor. It was a huge win for Baylor.
Well, we were 25, and Oklahoma was 4.
That's true,
right.
and that was
if you are going to rush the field, I think that's a good choice.
Well, I had already had a lot of Baylor apologists before that game saying, we think y'all are going to win. They knew we were going to be trouble. And, trouble comes with us being the 3rd in the FBS with 45.8 points per game. We're top 15 in average, 510
for
yards.
offense, right? Top 15 in offense.
That's right.
We're top 5 in scoring offense, though, aren't we?
I think so. I think that's what we are.
I think we're number 3 in scoring offense right now.
Right, and I think we're like 325 yards a game.
Yeah.
Passing Boykin, Scott.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't just add point. We got to put Eccles in there too now.
Yeah, he had a good 60-yard throw.
He got a good chunk of that, didn't he?
That was
one
nice.
for one.
One shot.
I tell you, if Jokel goes down and Boykin goes down, and whatever Boykin's wrist injury happens to be, I think we put Looper in there.
Hey, there you go. Well, that won't go good with the Jokel fans out here. Well, I think you're being in jest to that. And speaking of jest, probably the worst thing I heard this week from my Baylor friends down there. They said the IHOP changed the special down there, and this is no disrespect to the young man, but they said we're having the Anthony Toast Tejada breakfast on sale down here for $1.99.
Okay, that's pretty weak.
I couldn't believe they said that. Well, Tejada's a special talent. He'll get over this, just like Verrett will, and I think he'll come back and show forth. Great kid. And here's the other thing about that, and I don't want to go back into Baylor, but Bryce Petty was dead on target.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It was very reminiscent of RG3, against us. And not often in college football, I've seen it in the pros, but not often have I seen accuracy like out of those two games.
We got his best.
He put that ball exactly
got
where
his
it had to
best.
go.
We did get his best, and he gave away 2 interceptions, one for a pick six, and almost another one for a pick
and
six.
we knocked him around quite a bit,
We
too.
knocked him around, and, it just changed up. All right.
Nobody else has rung up 58 points on Baylor. Nobody else has picked off their quarterback on pick six. I can't remember if Petty's ever had one.
Right.
So we did some things nobody else has done and did it pretty well.
Okay, guys. Let's talk about the games. Then we got one more thing after we talk about the upcoming games. We got Baylor at West Virginia this week. How do you guys see that going?
Well, I got to go with the green on this one.
The green.
No, I'm gonna say West Virginia has a chance.
Oh, they definitely got
definitely.
a chance.
I mean, this isn't like playing Kansas.
Well, they're going to be rocking. They got a top 5 team in there, and a chance. West Virginia's not chump change.
They don't have a defense to match, so.
Well, no. Wait. This is in Morgantown, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know what? You could catch Baylor sloughing a little bit after,
this
after
could be
being
a letdown
up with
game.
us. This could be a letdown, and it's a tough place to play. Wes and I went up there 2 years ago. We're going back. Those confines can be very tough, and I don't expect them to be very nice to the Baylor people up there. They were awful nice to us when we were up there, but I don't expect
you're
that
nice
for Baylor.
people.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway. Okay, well, I think we're all probably thinking Baylor, but I'm with you, Sean. I think West Virginia's got a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably going to be a one-score game if West Virginia wins this.
Right.
It's going to be a hard-fought battle, but they've got the tools.
Absolutely.
They've got the team that can actually pull this off.
Yep. Okay, K-State's going to OU. Man, that is a huge game.
That is a big one, and I'm going to go with OU on this. I think they're going to bounce back. They had a little bit of a rough go against Texas, but they won. Of course, we beat them. K-State is always going to beat K-State. They're a well-coached team and a good team, but I think in Norman they're not going to win.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I mean, if this game was in Manhattan, I would say Kansas State on a coin flip.
Well, I'm not going to beat Corso or Herbie and just change the change. I got to go with you guys. If it was a home game for K-State, I would probably take K-State.
Yeah.
OU definitely did not play up to par against Texas, and Texas played very hard.
It's a rivalry game. You got to throw out all the records.
That's right. When rivalries go in. So I will state it Texas.
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 I think Texas. This is one Texas has to win.
Well, I think the Texas defense has been excellent so far this year.
Charlie Strong's a good defensive coach.
And he's going to get them playing well.
Well,
and, that quarterback that they've got is like Godzilla back there.
Right.
He's huge.
Well, when he does well, he does well. When he does terrible, he does terrible.
Yeah, I agree. But I think this is going to be a good game for him.
Yeah. Speaking of Texas people, we got Don Dotson Pollock over here and her son Dutch over here. Are you still a Texas fan, Don? Yeah. Okay. All right. She's not going to admit on here. She really roots for us Horned Frogs now. So anyway, we got Kansas at Texas Tech.
Got to go with the red on this one.
Texas Tech should win the game, but I'm praying for Kansas.
Yeah, we're praying for Kansas. I mean, let's be honest. Had that big return last week by OSU with about 6 minutes to go for a score on that kickoff. They would not have been in it necessarily. And then, of course, there was a interception by Josh Furman with about a minute something left that sealed the victory for Oklahoma State. But Kansas was right there. I mean, they could have won that game very easily. They gave Oklahoma State fits. And so, yeah, there we go. You are done. I think I won't sing and mess this up, okay? All right, well, Kansas, they do a lot better with their group than they do their football team this time of the year. And but I'm with you guys on that. I just don't see that.
But what happens if Tech loses this game to Cliff Kingsbury?
Well, first of all, he loses his modeling contract with Kim Dawson out of Dallas.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Pretty boy loses that. And, there's some serious stuff going on out at Tech. He was supposed to be the young gun and savior. And that's right. And Cliff's, he was supposed to bring them back to the days of what they had in the past there with their offense. And he is supposed to be one of the gurus, as they say, of this small privileged group of coaches that know this spread offense very well.
But he's only been a coach a few years, and he doesn't quite have the experience. And
that's true.
But he did get that extension to his contract.
Yeah, so. He did. What did he get? He got a pretty good extension.
He got a nice extension. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that.
He's no Mike Leach.
So did Charlie Weiss after 1 year, and look at that. So
absolutely,
those things can go south on you too.
Well,
very true,
guys. Let's go. Let's kind of break here for a second. Not really break, but let's change wheels and say, you know what happened today?
I think a little history happened.
A little history's gonna happen.
Big history.
That's right. The Kansas City Royals swept the Oreos, and that means Brandon Finnegan, if he pitches in this World Series, he will be the first pitcher ever to pitch in the same year in a College World Series and a World Series.
Well deserved.
That is special. That is special.
Wow. And, there's no disappointment here from us. We're excited. My only disappointment, I was hoping to have Brandon on next week. But
we may have to wait a couple
we're
months.
We're going to have to wait a week. I don't think he's going to fly in and come out. We do expect to have Brandon on in several weeks.
But if you tweet him, he might give you some tickets to the game.
Hey, was that not a phenomenal story?
That was an amazing story.
That was
why don't you tell us the story, Sean?
So if you didn't hear about this, basically here's what happened. This self-described broke Kansas City Royals fan tweets at Brandon Finnegan saying, you know what, I don't have money to take myself and my girlfriend to the game. Can you help me out? And he obliges. He gives the guy tickets to the playoff games. I mean, what a wonderful, wonderful player.
What's his Twitter address? Because I need a car.
Yeah. Hey, I know the Finnegans, and I can't even get a lunch out of them. What are you talking about? But Brandon gives the tickets away. And not only that, the guy tweeted him back and said, "You're the greatest. I'll take you to go eat barbecue at Gates, and I'll pay." And Brandon said, "No, I'll go eat barbecue, and you don't have to eat." I mean, how many professional athletes? And I know he's new at this and innocent at it, but it's a fresh approach to your normal spoiled professional athlete that he come in and shows how much he appreciates the position he's in.
Well, I think so. That's what makes it so special. He'll get a little jaded as he gets into his professional career, but for right now, it's a great ride for him.
Okay, guys. Well, we got a couple minutes here. We wrap up. Let's head back to the Oklahoma State game real quick. And Sean, how about a prediction this weekend?
Well, I've been wrong the last 2 weeks, so I'm going to say close game, one score, TCU 31, Oklahoma State 24.
All right, 7-point difference, one touchdown. I may not survive if it goes that close.
I'm hoping the reverse prediction is on here and we blow them out. But.
Right. Wes?
Well, you stole my thunder because I was going to say 31-24. So let me just change this to 31-21. How about that?
Well, I think it's going to be another wide open game. You look at the OU game. Oklahoma State is not, although their defense is salty, they're not a Baylor defense, I don't think, and I don't think they're in Oklahoma. Guys, I think we're going to open up some points again. I could see us being the game going to about 45-31 Frogs.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah, 45-31 Frogs.
I hope our defense does better.
Well, I think they do better. I hope our defense can keep them. We said 2 weeks ago, anytime the Frogs stay under 20 points, we're going to win. And if you had told me that not staying under 58 points, we wouldn't win.
Yeah,
I mean, we would have put the house,
Would never have thought.
I would have put my wife up that I got on Craigslist. I would have put it all up on that.
You put your wife up on Craigslist?
No, I found her on Craigslist, but I would have put her back on there. I may be going down to the courthouse tomorrow on that. I don't think she heard me.
I don't think you're even going to make it home.
Absolutely.
I made a note of that, though.
Well, guys, it's about that time to wrap it up here on the KillerFrogs Hour. I think we've had a good group here tonight. It was great to have Shannon Brazzell down here tonight. He did a great job helping us out. Hey, we've got some future guests down here coming. I think Coach Schlossnagel will be down here with us. Chris Del Conte. Can you believe that we may have one of the greatest names ever in sports talk radio down here that wants to be on here? And with us and just a kind guy. But Greg the Hammer Williams from the Hard Line.
Oh, man.
Was that kind of?
Don't do that again.
That was close.
Don't
but
do
yeah,
that again.
Don't do that again.
Okay, all right.
I need another beer after
But
that.
anyway, we've got some fantastic guests, and hopefully we'll get Finney on down here afterwards. Hopefully Matt Carpenter and them can turn it around, and they can play in the World Series. I believe Matt's going to come see us.
And we got basketball coming up too.
We got basketball. Coach Johnson. We talked to Coach Johnson. Coach Peeblish from the girls team. We would like to have both them down. Coach Johnson's just trying to work out his schedule so we can get him in here too. And so we've got all that coming up. And guys, it's that time for us. Hey, I tell you what. Let's get all those TCU football players up here. Chuck, Bill, come on up here. WC, get back here and give a Go Frogs as we sign off here. Show you some TCU. Hustle up here.
Come on, guys.
Quit dragging your wings up here. Get in behind us. Get in behind us. Hustle. Come on.
Come on, Dover.
Get back in here. All right, guys. We're going to beat Oklahoma State? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How about a big Go Frogs?
Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
They'll come back next week.